Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, here with your Hurricane Pro and HD video blog for Monday, the 16th of June, 2014. Good news to report as we start the week. No tropical cyclones at this time. We don't see any areas out here outlined in yellow, orange, or red. And I'll show you why. This is the visible satellite shot of the Atlantic Basin. And you can see going out to the Cape Verde Islands here, all the way over through the Caribbean and into the Gulf of Mexico, even the Southwest Atlantic here. Nothing developing at all. We don't even have any areas of deep convection, so there is literally nothing to really talk about. You do see this milky color in here, though. This is the Saharan air layer, and I want to show you another shot of that here. This is the University of Wisconsin Saharan air layer analysis, their tracking product. And all of these colors here, this orange and red, and some of these even in here pink. Let me outline it in yellow. This is the Saharan air layer, and this is this very strong air mass that comes blasting off of Africa with a low-level jet stream, and it sends this very dry, warm, stable air mass, and this can be tracked using modern satellite technology. And when you see this, this is just like a blanket, a very, very wet blanket on a fire, and this is going to keep anything from developing at all. You do see right in here a little tropical wave, a little bit of an indentation here trying to poke into that dryness. This is moisture, and another tropical wave maybe sitting over Africa, perhaps one in here. Way too early to be looking this far to the east, but for development anyway. But I thought the Saharan air layer was something that was interesting to point out to you. Looking in the eastern Pacific, check this out. This is the visible satellite shot, and I'll zoom in here. This is the leftover swirl, the bones, if you will, of what was once a very powerful hurricane right through here. This is the leftover remnant low pressure area of Christina. And what happened, it moved over cooler water, a more stable air mass as a result of that cooler water, and it just self-destructed. And that was it. It went away. It completely ran out of energy because of the warm water and the latent heat in the atmosphere, lower dew points, lower humidities, lower moisture content, you name it, and it just died away. I think that's really neat to see when they come out of here and then they just die off over the colder water of the Pacific. Some wind shear took advantage of it too and kind of tore Christina apart, but the main culprit here was the strong lack of warm water. So it just died away. I thought that was kind of cool. Nothing else to worry about in the Pacific. So let's take a look at the anomalies. Check this out. This is pretty impressive here, the El Nino trying to take shape. But this, not so impressive. We're not seeing this tremendous El Nino building to the west. Yes, this is impressive. These anomalies here, the departures from normal, all through this region are pretty substantial. But out here in the central Pacific, not so much. In fact, the Nino 3.4 region, which stretches somewhere out here like this, the main core of what we think of when we look at El Nino in the central Pacific, a pretty vast area out here, the temperature anomaly actually went down and is sitting at a 0.40 reading right now, and that is 1/10 of a degree shy of the 0.5, terrible font there, drawing, writing, whatever, but it's 1/10 of a degree cooler than the 0.5 that people consider the threshold, the minimum threshold of El Nino. So we're 1/10 of a degree below, and you say, well, Mark, that's not that big of a deal. It could fluctuate throughout the day or whatever. But really, when I see this, and this is a little bit of an anomaly here, but look, it's not much at all. 1/4 to 1/2 a degree, if that. And so we're not really seeing much of an El Nino develop. This, though, is the real telltale sign for me. This is the subsurface water, and it starts back here on the 13th of April, a very large, warm pool. You see it filling in up here, but then watch what happens in these last few frames. This starts to shrink away, and even this is shrinking away. See that? So I don't think this El Nino is going to have much oomph to it. That's the word I'm looking for, that scientific word, UMPH. And you see down here the colder anomalies starting to come in and chip away week by week. So by the time we get to August and September, it will not surprise me to see warm anomalies in the east and almost neutral conditions in the central and west Pacific, and even some cooler anomalies out here. I mean, come on, there's no super El Nino coming. This will be, I think, lucky to crack moderate, much less strong. And the super El Nino is like 2 degrees Celsius or something and higher, I believe. And it's a term that a lot of people that get excited about global warming like to use, because when you warm up the Pacific Ocean, such a large basin, abnormally so, you think about it, if all this water out here is warmer than it should be, you really help to spike the global temperatures overall, because it acts like a thermostat to some degree, pun intended. And so it helps to skew the stats in the favor of those who think that global warming is on a rampage. And I'm just one that thinks there's not enough evidence to support it. And even if it is happening, what are we going to do to stop it? Which country is going to go first to completely revert back to 1800s technology to reduce carbon dioxide emissions? I say, let's mitigate and adapt and learn to live with our changing world no matter what's happening and who's causing it. So there's my global warming piece for today. That's what happens when the tropics are nice and quiet. Anyway, that El Nino just doesn't look like it's going to have much oomph to it. No legs to stand on, if you will. We'll keep an eye on it, though, week after week. It looks like a quiet week ahead, so I'll be with you next week. We'll take a look at things next Monday. I am Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com, my website, and, of course, Hurricane Pro and HD, the wonderful apps for iPhone and iPad. You guys have a great week ahead. I'll talk to you next Monday.